Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our annual Katharine Lee Bates Poetry Fest. I would love to say it's the first time we've ever had to do this virtually. Unfortunately, it's now the second time we've had to do this virtually. So I don't know about you, but I'm really hoping that doesn't have to be a third time we do it virtually. I'm looking forward to actually seeing some bright smiling faces in person next year. So, but I greatly appreciate everybody that contributed poems during a pandemic. It means a lot to us that you took the time to do this. If I didn't have a chance to make your acquaintance, I'm Mark Schmidt. I'm the Executive Director of the Falmouth Historical Society and Museums on the Green. First and foremost, my sincere congratulations to everybody who was a winner in all of this. I greatly appreciate all the submissions. You guys did awesome. It meant a lot to us to have so many people and such good quality be a part of this. And I also want to make sure I thank someone who's in our audience today, but a sincere thanks goes out to Carolyn Powers, who's my predecessor, and she's actually the one who started all this. And so without her, none of this would have been possible. So I'm trying to keep up her tradition. So if you had a chance, all the winners happen to get a booklet that has all the poems. And I just want to give you a little heads up. What we're going to do today is everybody who wanted to read is going to read. So not everybody that was a winner wanted to read. So I wanted to honor their wishes. So not everyone that has a submission is going to read. So if you have your booklet and you see there's poems in there that aren't being read, it's not because I was being nasty and didn't include them. They just asked if they could be a watcher on the sideline. So I said, okay. And we also have a couple of people that in the times in which we live, I actually got 2 emails today from a couple of adults that are in the second half, Brian Trelligan and Christina Laurie, who actually asked to opt out because they tested positive. So it is the world in which we live. So again, if you see poems in there that didn't have their readers, it's not because I was a nasty guy. They just asked if they would. They're just being shy. They didn't want to read it, so I wanted to respect their wishes. So without further ado, now you're going to see a list of readers, and I'm going to tell you who they are. And and I understand that with the school year coming, that I'm probably going to introduce you as in the grade you were out of or once were, as opposed to with the grade you're going into. So if I introduce you as a 5th grader or a 2nd grader, I know you're going into 6th and 3rd, but I'm just doing it at the time you wrote it. So that's the logic. So our very first reader today, I hope he's in with us, is Tatum Nelson, who was in grade 5 at Morse Pond Middle School, and he wrote a poem called Falmouth. Tatum, you with us?
Hi, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Tatum, congratulations on your poem. Thank you for doing this, and you get the honor of being the leadoff hitter.
Thank you. Okay. Falmouth. The clouds like cotton candy, creating different shapes with different ideas. The beach so sandy, full of life and calm no one owns. A tree to be the liveliest thing in history, full of animals and birds that sprung from a seed many years ago. The pond has a gentle roll, but almost no current at all. And finally the ocean, all alone, where it can be dangerous and then calm.
When we come back, I'm going to tell you how I see it, and you're probably...
Thank you.
Thank you, Tatum. Our next reader is Audrey DePiper, who was in grade 2 at the East Falmouth Elementary School, and her poem is Dancing Snowflakes.
I love the snow, the twirling snow. It swirls and twirls and curls all night. What a very thrilling sight. All night I wonder about the snow. Will it be there tomorrow or will it go? I wake up the next morning and run to the shade. I open it fast. It's snowing, I say.
Thank you, Audrey. Our next one, Elliots Flare, he is like Audrey. He's a veteran, so a veteran recipient. So, Elliot, are you with us? His poem is "Then They Will Call Us Heroes."
Elliot, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Yeah. Elliot, you there? You have to unmute.
Elliot, ask someone to unmute you.
Hold on, Elliot, I'm coming. Oh, the joys of Zoom. Elliot, you there?
You requested me to unmute. He's under Kayla.
All right, Elliot, we're going to get back to you, okay? While we work on our technical problems. I'm going to go to our next reader, Jalen Thomas. And Jalen, am I getting your name right?
It's Tomasic.
What?
It's Tomasic.
There, Tomasic. That's right. Who was in grade 5 when she wrote this poem at the Morse Pond Middle School. Her poem is Strong Words.
Words that are strong, words that are wrong. Words when you're feeling mad, words that are bad. Words that are rude, words when you're in a negative mood. Words that are true, words when you're feeling blue. Words from another state, words that are great. Swear words, rare words, fight words, right words. Words can be harsh or nice. Always choose words that are nice.
Thank you, Jalen. Elliot, you there? Okay, we're going to go to Susan Elizabeth Clark from T-Ticket, who wrote a poem called What Matter?
What matter? What matter is the time of death? Is it but a date engraved on stone? What matters is the life soon left and the moments it has etched on those still holding breath. Has an invisible notch been inscribed on now morning heart? Or does it beat still, broken with the pain of never having been stretched in love or love returned? A loss so agonizing that the tears spent are as much for the one entombed as for forsaken nearness, thrown away chances, cold hardness, those sweet opportunities missed because of stilted priorities, unacknowledged value, blinded furies. What matters is the content of the life lived. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Abby O was a homeschooled kid and in Natick, Massachusetts. She was in grade 2 and she wrote a poem called We're Apart But Still Together. Abby, you with us?
Yes, we're apart but still together. We're apart but still together. If we can't get too close, you'll always be with me. There's still excitement with you. There's more than you think to do. Fun activities for you and me to share. We're together in rain and sun on gloomy days when there's not much fun, even though you're far away from me. Look how much together we can be. We're apart but still together.
Thank you, Abby. All right, I'm putting out another call for Elliot because I got to think that he's under Kayla Mamula. So Elliot, you there? Okay, I'll get back to you. Robin Smith Johnson from Mashpee, Massachusetts wrote a poem called Black Locust. Robin?
Sure, thanks. Black locust, thrusting up out of soft loam, its great bulk wraps around itself, bark deeply furrowed. We stumble upon it sometime in May, strong branches twined, grown together, held fast. In this time of self-isolation, it too is marked by storms, the ravages of wind and wild weather. Only a moment we stop to admire the hulking presence, touch its hard, ropey surface, pay tribute. Later, home once again, everything too close, too familiar. The green outside pushes in. Thanks.
Thank you, Robin. Right. One more call for Elliot. All right. Elliot, I can read your poem if you'd like. I know Elliot is at in a home, and he wrote a poem called "Then They Will Call Us Heroes," and it goes: a Marine stands up, he is ready to fight. An Air Force pilot flies days and flies nights. Sailors ship out when we have the need. The Coast Guard protects all our ships at sea. The Army does its share in a war. They march and they march until their feet are sore. A merchant ship ships out to sea with little protection, but for our brave Navy. An armed guard is assigned to each merchant ship. They're gunners' mates from all Navy ships. If it's our turn to die, they ship bodies home while we're in flight. We are never alone. Our flag drapes the casket we are in. An armed guard stands by, but lets nobody in. We are then buried in a military way. Then they will call us heroes, and that is our way. So when you say goodbye, it's not too late to pray. Then when you look back, it was just yesterday. Lucia Gomez Ibanez was in grade 8 at Falmouth Academy. She wrote a poem called I Sneeze. Lucia, you here? Okay, I guess she's not with us today. Debra Michaelwitz from Bayside, New York is a longtime friend, and she wrote a poem called On Elizabeth Catlett's Head of a Woman. Deborah?
So please imagine that you're walking into a museum gallery, and that's how it begins. On Elizabeth Catlett's Head of a Woman, hanging in Gallery 902. She's a small painting, a hard shell, half masking a soft face. She turns to recognize a sound, a noise, an unseen child asking a question. Her eyes look up, telling us she's below, she's seated. She's engaged with unseen work at an invisible desk. She's a modern mortal besieged by a powerful primal presence. She lives in a cropped space. A patch of light glows over her shoulder. Her disciplined hair abuts the other edge of the canvas. No room to move here, nothing to see, a cliff. Green rises on the left, art spins it into gold as it sets on the right. The light flits around her face, defying nature. She is illuminated, she is alive. Elegant colors quietly step around the image, echoing, remembering. Her cheekbones foretell the soft woolen jacket's tailored angles. Ancient geometric arcs circumscribe her eyes, the neck of her sweater, her jaw. Abrupt smudges of blue on her lapel telegraph painterly memories. A composite of opposites, light and dark, round and sharp, real and imagined. Innumerable strands of paint knit that swath of sweater, knotted yellow, ecru, blue, and peach, the highlights of her brown skin. She inhabits 3 dimensions with troweled paint applied like mortar, a surface sometimes rough, sometimes slicked like icing on a birthday cake, a life in relief. Most memorable are lips that leave unwhispered a longer story.
Thank you, Deborah. Lucia, are you here? Lucia wrote a poem called I Sneeze, so I guess she's not with us, but I'll read it for her. The barn is dark with motes of dust illuminated by the light filtering through the grimy windows. Bah. The sheep are hungry. 3 scoops of pellets for each bin and an armful of hay. Clang. Wet noses crowd against the metal gate. It rattles. They can see me settling down the feed bins and they want something to eat. The gate is open. Hooves pound the ground as they strain to be the first one to take a delectable bite as they vie for the best spot around the bin. I slip away to feed the chickens. Katie is also a homeschooler from Natick, and she was in grade 4 when she wrote the poem Together. Katie, you with us?
Yeah, we'll do it now before it gets too late. Help everyone no matter where they're from. Together we can do something great. We'll welcome anyone that has come. Let's make the environment better, love everyone and give them peace and hope. Make others feel good, just send a letter. If someone's angry, help them cope. Make someone smile, it's more than enough. Know that all people is equal, is true. Help others even if it's tough. I'll always help you and we can get through. Why, you may ask, would we do all these things? Because giving is the important thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Raylan Carl was in grade 3 in East Falmouth Elementary School when he wrote a poem called The Earth. Raylan?
Hi. The earth is what we live on. We love everything about it. No one in history has ever come to doubt it. It has gorgeous oceans and mountains of glory. The Lord provides us with a great inventory. It's home to nature, beautiful and right. We love to lie on its surface and watch the stars in the night. It has fiery volcanoes that launch lava that burns. Also, it has great, beautiful ferns. It is so fun to watch its trees sway. The earth is great in every way.
Thank you, Raylan. Beverly Shaw Johnson is from Mashpee, Massachusetts, and she wrote a poem called Circles and Wheels. Beverly, you here? Okay, I guess she's not with us. Penny DuRan is my world traveler. She, if you remember last year, she won and she did it from Germany. Penny goes to the Carl Schurz School in Houston, Texas. She was in grade 11 when she wrote a poem called My Grandfather. Penny, where you zooming in from today?
I'm also in Germany this time around.
Oh, nice. So you win the long distance prize again.
Yep, that's fun. Okay, I'll get started with reading the poem then?
Yes.
My grandfather has a tick, counting to 60 before he belts out a tune. He can be rather wooden, his face etched with aging features. In the living room, he faces the television and chimes in periodically. When I'm around, I ask him for advice, but it's iffy because he swings back and forth. Of course, he used to be steady and reliable, but now he has become rather run down. From time to time, he reminds me of one of our cousins who was kind of cuckoo. As he ages, he's grown more stubborn, as if years sometimes won't budge. We sought out a special home for him, which we affectionately call the antique store. At home, it's become silent for us, without grandfather's hourly reminders.
Thank you, Penny, and thank you for doing it. What time is it there in Germany?
Oh, it's not too bad. I'm a night owl. It's
Here I thought I was ruining your sleep and everything like that. But
oh, no problem.
No. All right. Beverly Shaw Johnson, I guess she's not with us, but she wrote a poem called Circles and Wheels. And it goes, life rations moments of rare ecstasy, just enough to lure mortals into dreaming of them. Often on this dizzy merry-go-round, we lunge for the brass ring and miss most times around. Sometimes losing balance and falling from the painted horse, only to remount, stay the course. The piping charms us, a chiding calliope urging us to think young, stay young, look young, be young. Wanting youthful joys, enchanted toys, we even try Ferris wheels a while, but we are always brought back to earth, where we grow older, where we grow wiser, where we grow grounded. And now it brings me great pleasure to introduce someone on her 162nd birthday. Would you welcome Katharine Lee Bates?
Oh, I'm coming. I don't quite understand this technology. Was I there? Wait, back away. Hello. Oh, all these people in boxes. Look at you, here to celebrate my birthday. Well, I have so enjoyed the poetry. I love the descriptive text. You people in Falmouth really know how to tell a story. I want you to know that poetry is passion. Poetry is a way to tell the truth. I hope you're filling your journals. I hope that you're writing every day. I hope that you continue to participate in Poetry Fests. I can't believe the museums on the green in Falmouth still honor me. I am so touched. Thank you, Mark. I want you to know that I have been thinking about this day, my birthday, and I wanted to tell you that it is something very special to be honored for words that have been spoken or written. Words. Oh, there was a girl who did a poem on words. It was beautiful, magical even. Those words that lift us up, those words that keep us from going down. Thinking about words. We're all our own thesaurus. Some of you may not know what a thesaurus is, but look it up. It will be very helpful in learning your words. So I think that poetry is a way of transporting us. Wouldn't you agree? It's an opportunity for us to take a trip in our minds and to bring an audience along with us. So be descriptive in your words. Every day, learn 5 new words before my next birthday. I hope you can promise me that. It is so strange to see all these boxes with people's faces. Can you wave to me? Oh, you can wave to me. Oh my goodness, that is wild. So I wanted to share, I heard some of our poets are ill. And let's all send up a collective prayer for them. But I wanted to let you know that when I was a little girl, there was a very bad pandemic. And I wrote my last will and testament when I was 11. May I read it to you? The will of Katie L. Bates. I, Katie Bates, do hereby make my will, for life is uncertain. I hereby give and bequeath all my worldly possessions in the way of dolls and toys to Hattie Gifford, with the wish that she will give them to the poor Indians. I also give and bequeath all my garments to my mother, Mrs. C.F. Bates, with the exception of my blue coat, which I bequeath also to Hattie Gifford, hoping she will profit by my numerous notes. To my dear, though provoking sister, Jane Bates, I give and bequeath my writing desk and all contained therein. To my older brother, Arthur Bates, I leave the old cat with all my love. To my younger brother, I bequeath my scissors, thimble, etc., with the hope that he will learn to mend his own breeches. And to my schoolmates, I give and bequeath my love and urge them to remember the words, life is uncertain. To Minnie Marion, I give and bequeath a piece of paper which she will find between pages 324 and 325 in my history book. To May Shriverick, I bequeath my spectacles. My money that I have accumulated during my lifetime, I give and bequeath to Mrs. Sarah Lawrence for cutting my hair. To my grateful friend, Dr. Everett, I give and bequeath my jackknife for tending when I was sick. My storybooks and magazines, I'm going to give to Hattie Gifford as my executor. And if I have forgotten anything, I bequeath it to her. I give you all my blessings. Thank you. And think not ill of the dead, because life is uncertain. The musings of an 11-year-old girl. And here I am. Did you say 162? Wow. So I wish we could gather at the museums on the green, because quite frankly, I miss you. And the other day, I was at the grocery. I think they call it Stop and Shop. And there's a young man here on this today in one of these boxes who I heard whispering behind me. And he said, "Mom, look, it's Katharine Lee Bates." Well, I turned around and said, "A girl's got to eat." So, on that note, Mr. Mark Schmidt, the rest of us here are missing the cake. Thank you again for having me, for celebrating me. 5 new words a day till my next birthday. 5. You can do it. Thanks again. I'm going to stay on very quietly and listen to the rest of the poems. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Bates, and a very happy birthday. And let me say that maybe it's just me, but I think Zoom takes at least 10 years off. For 162, you look awesome. I'm not a day over 150.
And I did put on my party outfit for you.
And yes, as Ms. Bates is correct, if we were doing this live, there would be birthday cake. But on behalf of my waistline, I thank you nonetheless. So a very happy birthday, and thank you for joining us. And now to continue honoring your birthday, Cordelia Shortino, who was in grade 2 at East Falmouth Elementary, wrote a poem called Love. Cordelia, you here?
Yes. Love. Love is what happens with the matter of marriage. Love is what happens with friends and family. Love is what happens with brothers and sisters. Love is what happens with your mom and dad. Love comes from when you laugh, and love also comes from the heart you have.
Hey, Cordelia. Brian Trelligan was one of our sick people, so I will read his poem. He wrote something called Soulmate. I row on Arctic oceans, she sails on southern seas. I earn money with my motions, she gets all she needs for free. I pray for wild harvest with hands frozen to the oar. She contemplates the sunrise, it's sometimes better than before. We hunt and kill for oil, which they trade for rum and gold. She creates sublime impressions that stay burning in your soul. If I make it through the winter, then my wailing days are done. She tries to capture the aesthetic of the glory of the sun. I feel we are together, but we are hemispheres apart. I chose to suffer for my money while she suffered for her art. Emma Swire was in grade 5 at the Morse Pond Middle School, and she wrote a poem called My Small Puppy. Emma, you here? Emma, you with us? All right, Desi Richardson was in grade 7 at Falmouth Academy, and he wrote a poem called His Hands. Desi, you with us? People must be out celebrating Miss Bates's birthday. Deborah Murphy is from Centerville, Massachusetts, and she wrote a poem called Palest Yesterday. Deborah?
When I forget who you are, forgive me. But I lose my way. Point me toward home. When I stare out the window, sing me a song. Take me to the zoo. Bring me an ice cream. Anything to find the smile I'll lose when I forget who I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. McKinley Manley was in grade 5 at the Morse Pond Middle School, and he wrote a poem called The Fall Day Similar to Life. McKinley?
Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can, yep.
Okay. So the fall day similar to life. I see the leaves blow in the chilled wind, but I see colors that are not the same, and some people would like to blame. Some are lighter than others when they are different colors, but it does not mean they aren't brothers. When I look at myself, I say, I am proud of who I am. I am enough like a piece of ham. Thank you.
Thank you, McKinley. All right, Emma Swire wrote a poem called My Small Puppy, and it goes like this. This dog of mine sleeping calmly, the sun sitting on her long black coat, her tongue laying limp like it was asleep too. Your short small tail sitting still, my small puppy sitting in my lap, seeping love and warmth. Calming any stress and anxiety, her paws hang off me with her long sharp nails poking the couch. Oh no, I moved just a little. The best small puppy has now arisen. Stacey Richardson wrote a poem called His Hands. I put the knife into his hands, tears rolling down my face. He dug into my heart, blood staining his beautifully smooth skin, but I was happy because red was his favorite color, right? He took my heart into his hands, holding it with such grace and purity. It was only a matter of time before he crushed it. My blood cool and poised would flow over his gentle fingers, dyeing them red, but it was my fault for letting him hold it, right? It was my fault for believing that he loved me the way that I loved him. Isabella Silvera was in grade 5 when she wrote, and in Morse Pond Middle School when she wrote a poem called The Hitchhiker. Isabella, you here?
Yes. I'm here.
Isabella?
Can you hear me?
I can now. I can't see you.
My video is on.
Okay. Isabella, I can barely hear you.
Hello?
Yeah. You there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I can hear you, I can't see you.
The hitchhiker, sitting by the fire in the broad of night, not knowing the day or time, hoping for someone to come by. Then next thing you know, there it comes, the headlight to go miles by. My dog shivering out in the cold, never knowing how we will get home. The car having a flat, only if we could get a spare. The one headlight comes by, seeing me there. The kind woman has a spare. Even though she can't put it on, she has the tools. With her presence, I figured it out. In this hard situation, we are now out.
Thank you, Isabella. Janet Beecher Rogers is from Sandwich, Massachusetts. She wrote a poem called Pain. Janet, you with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can.
Good. This poem was written last year on June 12th during the pandemic, the first round of the pandemic. Pain. I lie in bed, pain ravishing my gut like snakes circling their prey. As protests and riots swirl in cities not far away. There are so many forms of pain these days. Pain of loneliness and isolation. Pain of centuries of oppression and mutilation. Pain of rejection at the border for those seeking freedom and new order. Pain as people die each day from a mysterious virus that has come our way. Pain at not being able to visit with loved ones as they live and die in droves, unable to share their woes. We are all in pain during these dark days of springtime, yet nature kisses us with reminders that the pendulum always swings and will someday find its way back home again.
Thank you, Janet. Alan Mendes was in grade 5 at the Morse Pond Middle School when he wrote the poem, What We Should See. Alan, you with us?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. This is my poem, What We Should See. I'm your child and you are my mom. And every time I look into your eyes, I see the eyes of a caring, calm, kind, brave, and awesome mom that loves her child more than anything on earth, and one that is willing to make sacrifices and push herself harder than she ever has before, just to make sure that her child will have a home and food and clothes and an education. That is what we should see in every mom's eyes.
Thank you, Alan. Holly Dunley is from Sandwich, Massachusetts, and she wrote a poem called The Lie. Holly, you here?
Yes, I am. The lie. The lie erases summer's glee and turns our sheltered shoreline path into a road's dead end. The lie's a darkened mud of doubt, mud once warm that squished between the toes of children's dawn delight. A suck boot beast that drags us beaten into Dante's core. Our confidence, the lie, is charcoal's dust, turned wolf who thrashes prey, a lifeless mass. But new day rises from this hellfire's gore and breathes in air that lifts the heavy paw until gray thunder fades behind the hills and truth returns upon a tropic breeze. As dusk retreats and forms a cradled pink, we toast abandoned lies with wine's sweet drink.
Thank you, Holly. Daniel O'Brien III was in grade 5 at the Morse Pond Middle School. We wrote the poem, The Trail. Daniel, you with us? Daniel, you here? All right, let me try to find it. And we have one more poem too that Christina Laurie emailed me, and she has COVID, so it seems like probably a good way to go out here. She wrote a poem called Remember. Death launches us into a world unknown, a place with heavenly sunlight, unreachable but by death. Black dresses with long sleeves, hats that shadow tear-eyed stains, black ties and dark jackets. We live with words left unsaid, a heaviness worse than stone, a murmur of gray overhanging. Drink from the waters of sorrow as waves wash overhead, clouds obscure sun-drenched sky. It is with grief we live. Walk alone in the valley of shade. It weighs more than your own flesh, heavy as a battle not won. I could cry tears because he is gone, or smile because he lived. And let me see if I can find Daniel's poem, The Trail. I am going to the trail for a nice walk. I see a squirrel with a bushy tail. I'm going to the trail for a nice walk. I'm going to the trail for a nice walk and I see an animal's tail. I wonder what animal it is. I see it's a fox. I leave it be, it leaves me be. I'm going to the trail for a nice walk. Thank you, everybody. And once again, a very happy birthday to our friend Katharine Lee Bates. A big thank you to Carolyn Powers for creating us. And a big thank you to all of you for your submissions in a pandemic. I appreciate this more than you can realize. And yes, like Miss Bates's wish, next year let's do it in person. I could really go for some cake. So congratulations, everyone. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for spending a little time in the little box on Zoom through a hot day. Congratulations. Keep writing the good poems, and let's make sure this is the last time we have to do this virtually. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy birthday to you.
Bye.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you and happy birthday.
Thank you.
See you next year, Catherine.
Yay.